This is going to be live. I am going to be talking about a few things, and I actually wanted to go back to a couple of stories that happened before the point that I just left off on. So back when I lived in Sacramento, I had a lot of stories, especially during that time where I was kind of doing my whole like I don't know, pickup like attack thing where I was just, obliterating everything and blowing up the entire fucking town of Sacramento. It actually got to the point where we approached so many girls that like 1 in 5, 1 in 6 girls would like recognize us when we'd approach. We actually started getting to the point where we blow up like a college. Like we blew up a college of like, oh shit, like a lot of fucking students. And like we couldn't like, whenever we'd like blow up one college and we'd approach too much in one spot, we had to move to another college and approach there for a while until the other college got to the point to where it started like, forgetting that we existed, which took a little bit of time, took like a year. So we'd like move from college to college while we were doing this, just like hitting them up one at a time. But yeah, like I had a lot of stories. So around the time that I had my first attractive girlfriend, there were actually a couple Chico stories that happened. So Chico was a town nearby Sacramento that we used to go to all the time. And actually one of your guys' favorite pickup guys, like a legend, used to go there himself. Evil Stifler used to go to Chico State. Like, and he used to be like a fraternity leader and whatnot. And a lot of people don't know that about him. But yeah, like this town we go to and we would just like, we go ham. And I'm gonna say this too. This is back when I first started drinking and I started drinking alcohol. It was pretty crazy for a lot of us. Like, all right, so the first time we ever went to Chico, we were like bouncing around and going to like a lot of different bars, a lot of different parties. We were hitting them all up and like moving from spot to spot. And it came down to it where all of us, like, so we were out, my friends, okay? So Abs, it was the Indian guy who could dance. I'm gonna name him Tomato. He'll get the joke if he ever watches this video. And then, me and a couple other friends. Now, it came down to it where Tomato, he can get really fucking attractive women, like he always could, but he loves overweight women. So we were like out gaming and we're talking to all these girls and stuff like that. I land on this like cute blonde girl. One of my friends lands on like this brunette. Abs lands on the brunette. And then Tomato, he lands on like a cute overweight chick, like a cute blonde overweight chick. And this is actually one of the lessons that I learned in this one. So I was leading the pack like I usually do. It's like for everybody kind of like trusting me. When it came down to our crew and stuff like that, they always trusted me to kind of like take charge and like, lead the interaction. So it came down to it where we needed to move them. Like they were buying temperatures really high. They were like really, they were 110% down. We just had to get them to the place that we were going to take them to. So what was funny was like, so we walked them out of the club and the girls were like, how far is your car? And I'm like, oh, it's a block away. It was not a block away. It was, I think 10 blocks away, but I told them, oh, it's just a block away. And like every time, like the next block would come, the girls would be like, where is it? And I'm like, oh, it's just the next block. Sorry, my next block. And then we just keep making jokes to like keep their energy high and stuff like that. So then it came down to where we were like all carrying the girls by the end of this walk. And we finally get them to our car. And yeah. We took them all back to our friend's place, took them all into separate rooms and whatnot. Carrot out of everybody the guy fell absolutely in love with his girl, and it was an awesome time. But it was really funny how you can baby step, interactions like that. Like the girls at the time, I wasn't like nearly as high quality as I am nowadays. I would say my game is not as like nowadays. I wouldn't have to like do this where I'd baby step a girl so far, because like I would say that like I give so much value in an interaction. Most girls are like willing to chase me down, but back then it was like a big thing for me. Like I didn't have enough like attraction up to that point for somebody to like go all that fucking way with me. So walked them all the way up, and eventually it came down to where we all closed. Now. I can get into a lot of stories about Chico, and I think I'm gonna wait for that for the YouTube video, to be honest, because the YouTube video, I'm gonna add like a lot of like field reports, and the Chico stories are really fucking long, and they're really intensive. There was another guy. So there was a guy, the brother to my first attractive like girlfriend. He did drama game amazingly. So he like watched a lot of Julian, and he obsessed about it. He was just like on point when it came down to it with like drama game. Like I've seen him like he would like turn girls into puddles around him, and it was a lot of fun to watch, and it taught me a lot. Tomato started practicing the same tactics that he used, and then I started watching him do the same stuff. They would do like please respond, or they'd do push pull over text, and I watched them kind of practice with this, and I thought it was always really incredible the way that they could do this. Like me, I can do drama game, but it never really spoke to me as much as like, kind of just like being a cool guy. Like for me, like the drama game was never my thing. It's a very powerful tactic though. Women are very like these, for the right type of woman, it's a very addictive thing to do. Like it's a very powerful thing to do. So that was what my friends did. Hey man, how's it going? Let's get into the next story. So now, I actually wanted to get into the story about what caused me to get monogamous with my first like attractive girlfriend to begin with. So we were doing these games where we go out to a club and we see who can make out with the most people, which obviously like she had a little bit of advantage because women, for a girl, it's not that tough to find a dude to make out with. You just have to convince them that you actually are like trying to make out with them. For a guy, I actually did really fucking good, to be honest. Like, I was very well practiced at the time. But like, so it came down to where I walked up on her while she was making out with like this pretty big dude. And I felt a tinge of like jealousy. And I was like, fuck this dude. So I went and I grabbed her off of him, span her around, pulled her in and started making out with her. And the dude goes, what the fuck? And then one of my friend, her brother, and now my friend, he actually is still a close friend of mine today, comes in between us and he goes, you better back the fuck up. And he's like, I already made out with your girl. And I'm like, and I looked at my girl and I said, you made out with this dude? Bad girl, bad girl. I'm going to talk to you when we get home. And she told me instantly in my ear that turned her super on. But the next day, like I wasn't as like non-jealous or like, as in abundance as I am nowadays. So the next day rolled around, it hit me that I was super fucking jealous and I tried to break up with her. And it didn't go, like eventually like I apologized and whatnot, but then I wanted it to be monogamous because now I'm super jealous and I'm afraid of her like going and like being with some other dude, and I made it monogamous. And that's ultimately why we had to break up in the end. Because when I made it monogamous, it's my drive to get good at this shit. It was like I was driven to like this is my path, this is my purpose, this is what I wanted to do my entire fucking life. And the second that I made her an obstacle to that, like there was no more like us being in a relationship. Like it took no more than a year for me to like sabotage the shit out of it and to like, get her to break up with me, get her to find out that I was cheating on her or whatnot. And it was totally 110% my fault. And it was a big lesson for me. And I continued to make the same mistake 3 relationships in a row until now, like, I'm a lot more self-confident than I used to be. I don't need to do that kind of shit anymore. I actually am like, it's different now. I can make an entire video about what happened with me and why this is the case, but I'm not going to get into that. Now, fast forward. Okay. Now, past the point where like her and me break up, past the point where I went through my entire like pickup apocalypse where I was just like mad approaching for like a couple of years and just going crazy. And then fast forward to when I started working with RSD. Now, I went to Las Vegas to work with RSD and I learned a lot of stuff. Like there was one point where my game was falling off a little bit and I was getting in my head thinking that I wasn't worthy enough to be a coach. And so when I started approaching girls, I was like getting rejected a lot. Like I was getting brutally fucking rejected and I had no idea what was going on. And it came from like a lack of confidence in myself because I was super broke. I had no money. I was like living on people's floors and shit. And I felt like I wasn't worthy of the girls I was talking to. And what I ended up doing, which Todd actually fixed this for me, he told me, are you holding eye contact? And I'm like, I'm not. So when I approach girls, I wouldn't be giving them eye contact and they'd instantly blow me out. Because I was so in my head about my circumstance, I didn't feel like I was worthy of the girls. So Todd told me, start giving them eye contact. And first fundamental game, eye contact. It was the first lesson I ever had from Todd, was to give girls eye contact. It's a massive fucking thing. Like if you guys ever go to a salesman and he's like, notice a good salesman is always looking you in the eyes, especially when he's trying to make you believe what he's saying. Now, I could say something like, I'm 80 fucking years old. I'm 80 years old. Yeah, I wear a diaper. Yeah, I have 3 grandchildren. Like the eye contact thing is like, it's an indication that you're telling the truth. It's a honest signal. So whenever you're like trying to say something and you want somebody to believe you, so you're like, yeah, girl, get the fuck over here. And you're looking in the eyes, it's like showing her that I am this person, that I'm congruent to the person that I'm actually representing right now. And I'm not intimidated by you. I'm on your level, if not above you. So that's why eye contact is so powerful. And I learned that from Todd, which, Todd at the time wasn't so enamored with me. I think he thought I was just like a fanboy type kid, even though I worked as a coach for him. Like he always kind of like, like looked at me like, kind of. Nowadays him and me are tight, but back in the day, it wasn't so the case. I imagine I was like super qualifying and supplicating to him at the time too. Now, now from here, let me get back to like some of the stories I wanted to tell. Now, like I said, I met up with a friend. So I worked a lot of odd jobs during this time. So I worked nothing but sales and mainly full commission jobs. I almost never worked a job where I got paid hourly. It was always full commission. And it's also a big factor of why I got better at game. I was like selling vacuums door to door. I was selling tens units. So like I was fucking around. I'd be approaching every day selling these tens units, selling like ionic wristbands, which were super fucking scammy, and I couldn't end up selling in the end because I couldn't sell a product I didn't believe in.
You should lay down another side.
What?
You should lay down to that side. I'm joking. See? You scared.
Huh?
You scared everyone.
Am I scaring everybody?
Mm-hmm. You see, there's the empty side.
Wait, is there anybody?
I can see. Is there somebody?
Is somebody coming?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, ma'am. Ma'am, do you want a tens unit? Do you want to try it out?
Okay, wake up.
Sold cars for a long time. I've sold cell phones like multiple times, cell phone accessories by themselves. I sold this, like, there was this giant like microwave thing that I'd make people stand in the middle of, and they'd size them up, and I'd talk them into getting this and give them their sizes for pants, shirts, all this kind of stuff. It was honestly advertising. They'd pay me like a certain amount per person that got in this machine. I sold TVs, stereos, sound equipment. I sold windshield repairs and replacements. I sold car wash details. The amount of is honestly, it takes me a lot of effort to remember all at once, and I know that I have a lot more, but like I've sold like everything, and it helped out a lot in my game. The reason I even did this for so long and I sold so much stuff was because I knew it would make me better at game. Like everything in my power, everything in my mental was meant to get me better at game. If I did a job and made my game worse, I would never fucking want to do it. And it made me struggle a lot at times. It was difficult at times because I was like so obsessed with game, and be hard to focus on sales at the same time. It was actually going to take me into, so before, like right around the time I quit for RSD, I did a lot. I did the vacuum cleaning thing. I did the tens units. And then my boy Daniel, the quickest guy I ever taught game. Like he just learned games so fucking fast, just absorbed it. He was like a fucking robot. He like legit, he could take things that I told him and he could implement them without any effort, with no hesitancy. It was insane. Like he got to the point, I didn't want to admit this to him, but like he actually got, like at the time, he got better than me. And he was always telling me, he's like, I want to get as good as you at game. And I was like, dude, I was thinking this all the time. I'm like, dude, you already kind of surpassed me, dude. Like there was one time he pulled like these 2 virgins for a threesome. I'm like, dude, you pulled 2 virgins for a fucking threesome, man. Like I don't know what to tell you, man. Like that's like, I don't know if like how much better you can honestly get. He was always trying to like quantify the way that I did this. And the problem is that I have more of a tacit understanding. It's not, I don't teach game in like a very tactical way. Like I work underneath fundamentals and mindsets and beliefs, and like that's how I game. And I game from those places. But like I have like done so many sets over a period of time. I just know what's going to happen before it happens. I can read the social cues. I know what the girl's thinking. I know what somebody else is thinking. I know when like even without asking, I know she has friends in the venue. I know she has a boyfriend without her saying it. It's just something you can't teach. And he was always trying to like pick that shit out of me. And he's like, well, what do you do in this specific situation? I'm like, it depends. Like you could do this, and. I got to the point where I could like visualize game, and I could like do a set in my head, and I could run the entire set about how the way it worked depending on the type of girl, and I'd like practice it in this kind of way, which sounds kind of weird, but like I just did it so many times over. It became to the point like, all right, so I did a boot camp recently with my computer guy. And I was explaining to him, like, I was trying to explain this to him, like, this sounds super fucking weird, but like, I would see like a type of girl and I explain this in her entire situation, how she believes, what her belief set is, who's related to who's like best friends. And I'd be explaining this, and he would be approaching the girls to find out if I was telling the truth. And like 100% of the time I was getting it right. Like, it's like, I'm like, it's a very weird thing to explain. Like I can even tell where somebody's from by the way they express, by the way they dress. Like I can tell versus like somebody from like Jerusalem. I can tell somebody from Iraq. Like I can tell somebody from Australia very fucking quickly, and it's because I've been approaching for so long. I can just see it. It's odd to explain, but it's like just a tacit understanding. I've just been doing nothing but this for the past 9 years now. If I haven't reached mastery in this, I don't know like what to tell you guys. All right, now that I'm outside of that weird topic, now now I'm doing like literally have the skill set in probably the most attacked industry in the entire world right now. Well, one of the most. So we'll see how it goes. Now let's see where I'm at. Now this is around the time when I was still working with Daniel, and I was selling club crawls. Now club crawls are these things that like you go to two bars, two nightclubs. If you guys walk the strip and you guys are like a young dude, you're gonna get talked to by like some Australian guys, European guys, some hot women, attractive dudes. And what they're doing is they're trying to talk to you to give them money to jump on this club crawl, which is actually a decent product. But like when you're giving somebody money on the streets, it's incredibly difficult. These guys are approaching hundreds of people a day, and their verbals are so tight. Like, all right, so you guys wonder why Vegas is actually difficult in the day and why pickup artists always bitch about it? It's because like legitimately there's guys like this you're competing against. Like these guys are like the cream of the crop, and these guys still hit me up today to get laid. Like so the way that I made friends was I just get everybody around me laid, and then through that aspect, like I would eventually become friends with them, and and they still hit me up to this day to like get women. They're like, you know, like. Most of them are like, a lot of them are doing drugs to do the job to keep up with it because it's a very mentally extraneous job and it's very difficult to do. To be like, but these guys make a lot of fucking money. My friend Daniel, he would make like $6,000 in a day at times, like, which was absolutely insane. He was the best club crawl salesman on the entire strip, and being on the Las Vegas Strip, I would say the best in the world. Like there were a lot of people in the biggest like party cities doing this shit, and he would just decimate everybody money-wise. Like anytime anybody come against him, like just decimate them. Like he's actually a legend here in Vegas nowadays. If you actually ask about Daniel, the club crawl salesman, everybody will tell you mad shit about him. Like a beast. Like he could read social cues the same way I could, but in sales. Like he would like see that everybody looked to one guy, he could tell who was in charge, and he would look at that one guy when on the sales pitch and he'd nod, and he'd wait till that guy starts nodding, and everybody else would look at the leader and they all start nodding with the leader, and then you just sell them all. It was insane. The way that he could read people, then he could stop people like no matter what. Like you see all these people like walking by everybody, his ability to stop people was insane. Like he could just like on a dime. Like I was known for stopping people really well, especially women. Like my main sales people were women. Like I would just like boom, boom, boom. But the problem is women also pay the least amount on club crawls, which made it difficult for me. You know, so I had to sell a lot of women to be able to pay rent. Unlike Daniel, who just like, you know, get like a bunch of dudes together and they each be like spending like $80 a piece and you make half of that. Like nuts. Now, let's see where I'm at. Okay. Now, there was one night where I went to the club Surrender. And this actually was a big learning lesson. Actually did add a little bit more structure to my game, and it taught me a lot. So what I did was, and what I generally do nowadays, is popular guy game. Now, when I go to a club, I talk to everybody. I talk to guys, girls. I'm hitting on the girls and make sure the girls start chasing me. Other girls start seeing it. And in a closed environment, being pre-selected is massive. I get guys on my side, so when the guys would see me, they'd be like high-fiving me, super excited to see me and stuff like that. Now, this is the first time I ever did this. Now, I had a table at Surrender because of my friends, and I came out with this large-ass bouncer dude and his MMA, his like heavyweight MMA friend, and I became really close friends with him. And it came down to where I was like bringing tons of girls to this table. I was like grabbing girls, bringing them all to this table. And it came down to where all the girls at the table started chasing me. I'd be throwing on my friends, be making sure everybody has a girl. I actually became a girl guy for a little bit because of this. Like guys would pay me to like grab girls for the tables and shit. But yeah, so this was the case. And now one girl in particular was really liking me. Gorgeous girl. But we're talking back and forth and this dude rolls up on me. And apparently this guy went to her high school back in her own state, in a state like on the East Coast. And this guy decided that he was going to get her and he had a mad crush on her and I was in his way. So he started getting very physically aggressive with me because he couldn't beat me verbally. And the girl was like looking at me like, help me. So I'm like, here, follow me. And I'm like, hey bro. And I'm walking back to my table. I'm like, hey dude, there's this dude right behind me. Can you deal with this? Because this guy's like been like super physically aggressive. The guy's like, dude, don't even fucking worry about it. Literally closed like a fucking door. And this dude is like, oh shit. Literally sphincter, like closed like a motherfucker. I'm pretty sure his pecker shot into his pelvis. Like the dude was done. When I left the club with that girl, I was high-fiving everybody as I was leaving. All the guys were high-fiving me. The girls were all like, you know, like waving at me and stuff like that. And this girl asked me, who the fuck are you? And that is popular guy game. And I learned that through this one night, and I still do it to this day. Like if you guys see me in a club, I will be the nicest motherfucker. I will be talking to everybody. It's generally like I'm a very nice guy to begin with, and I'm very good at making friends because I sucked at it so much when I was a kid. Like wherever you put your focus in, focus goes, energy flows. I wanted friends. The reason I even started in this to begin with was because I was afraid of being alone, having no women, and most importantly, having no friends because I never had friends before. So what did I do? I became extremely good at making friends, and now I use that in my game. It's my skill set, and I lean on my strengths, which was this. Whatever you guys want out of this, out of your approaching, whatever you focus on, it will become your strongest assets. This is why Todd's game is different than Julian's. This is why Tyler's game is different than Todd's. This is why like Bradicus has a different style of game than even Todd, even though like they worked together and they were like, and Alex, like even though they were like had a really close mentorship type of thing going on. Whatever you want in a game will become your greatest asset. Like despite if right now currently it is your weakness, in the end or the long haul, it'll become your biggest strength. I remember that I was thinking that my game was stagnating. I was just getting the same attractiveness across the board, and I don't know. I started seeing a lot of my older women that I used to date back in Sacramento, and I realized that I didn't think they were as attractive as they used to be. Like I didn't find them as attractive as the girls that I was dating now. Like legitimately, like a couple, like it was just kind of like a realization that like when you get better at this, like you're what you think is attractive now, with the girl that's your 10 out of 10 eventually will be your average chick. Like it's just how this game works. Like the way that like your brain is gonna like, you're gonna be like feeding it like, you know, newer girls. And like I thought that I stagnated. I thought I was like in a massive plateau. And then I looked over the long period of game and I realized that I massively fucking improved. Like the rule is that like your best set now will be your average set 6 months from now if you're doing this correctly. And that was so fucking true for me. And it still is true to this day. I still have not stopped improving. I have not hit a plateau yet. I have not stopped getting better. It's actually kind of fucking incredible. Like it's, I think that there's like, I don't think anybody's ever going to get close to a skill ceiling in this area, to be honest. I've studied a lot about mastery. Like I've obsessed about mastery, especially in my field. Like I read so many books about it. I've looked in so many different industries. I think we're so far away from our mastery ceiling. I don't think anybody's going to find a ceiling ever. I don't think it's possible, like maybe in 10,000 years or so, when we're no longer humans and we're all robots, or when we're all like just so genetically modified we couldn't even consider ourselves humans anymore. I don't think that we're ever going to reach a point where we can actually get as good as you possibly get at this. And the amount of people that are at my friend's level or my level or like other guys that I know's level are so low. It's like a 0.00001% of any pickup guy that ever gets into this, that ever gets this level. It's like, it's so much effort. Like I could have made it a lot faster if I wrote field reports, approached a lot more. Maybe surrounded myself with people that were better than me, taking more boot camps when I was younger, even though I was so broke. Like if I took more boot camps, I would be so much fucking better. Like if I didn't take so fucking long to get around Julian, like I think that I would have gotten a lot better by this point. So there was a time where like my money situation was really fucked and I got really depressed. And it was actually really funny. The girls started finding me absolutely repulsive. And it took like maybe 2 months before my money situation got fixed again. And when I came back around, I was a lot happier. And girls started like all of a sudden like started finding me attractive, all of a sudden. And it was the moment where I realized emotions are actually attractive in among themselves. Like whenever you're out of it, like as a person, how do girls react to you differently than when you're really happy and in a really relaxed state? Now I want you guys to start experimenting this and really thinking this through and like start like feeling it out. If you're in a really happy state, how do girls react to you versus when you're out of it? I want you guys to really start looking at this. This was like a huge lesson for me, and it taught me so fucking much and became one of my fundamentals of the game for a very big reason. Now, I was pulling a lot with my friends, and this is around the time when I met my last serious ex. I mean, I've dated some strippers in between here and there. I'm dating like, you know, some girls right now and stuff like that. But yeah, this was the girl that I dated for like 2 years, which the breakup was really sad. So I wanted nothing but to become like really fucking good at this and do this for a living. Like that's the only fucking thing I ever wanted to do. Now, I started dating this girl and she actually moved to Las Vegas to date me. And we dated for like one and a half years. I actually quit club crawl sales to take on a lesser job that wasn't so mentally strenuous to start my YouTube channel. Because all I ever wanted to be was an RC instructor. And I decided fuck it, if it comes down to it where like if they're not gonna put me on, I'm gonna put myself fucking on. Like I'm done being like somebody's bitch. Like I'm gonna figure this shit out for myself. And so I put 110% of all my effort into this by itself. And I started to like do nothing. Like I'd go to work and then I'd leave and I made a game for a couple hours and then I would just sit down, figure out YouTube. I'd study like algorithms. I study like programming, editing. I start like buying expensive cameras, start studying it, starting the audio equipment. This took me like so much extra time and I was doing nothing but working all the fucking time. I was doing nothing but working on this all the fucking time. And it was a struggle. Like I did this for like 2 years before I got like attention. If you guys look at all my videos, the video that actually made me pop off is RSD legit. The day that video popped off was one of the most emotionally, like my most emotional days I have ever fucking had. Like I was like, I actually had to leave the house so my girl didn't see me crying. I drove up the street and I drove a block away and I parked somewhere where nobody see me and I just started sobbing. I started screaming, I started hitting my steering wheel. I was punching the ceiling. I was just so fucking ecstatic. Like it was fucking nuts. Like, dude, like somebody actually started like seeing my video. It was at this point, I'm like, all right, now I need to fucking double down on this shit and I need to figure this out. I need to like, now, like I got some kind of like movement going. I got some kind of video that's getting some views. It's time to like pull these people in and figure out like what angle I pull in this. Now people started looking at me for the IsRSD legit video. I knew they'd want something similar to the content. So I started putting out content that was similar. And I started getting a following. And then I started like putting out content that showed my incredible understanding of this shit and that I thought people would start resonating with. And then people started slowly figuring out this stuff and started seeing it. Then I started like really thinking about what could I do to make my content better. I was with a girl at the time, so I couldn't shoot Infield. And I was like, well, why don't I like show people the difference between good pickup versus bad pickup? And I'm like, I can so do that. So I started doing that. Now, I was planning on like, now I was really torn because I really fucking cared about this girl. Like I cared about her a lot. Like she's a fucking super sweet ass person, like amazing. But this is what happened. Now, now it came down to it where after winter, like I quit my job because I was making enough money in this and I was terrified. And then all of a sudden like people started paying me money. And I was like, amazing, awesome. The next month though, so like 2 tragedies hit me within like a week span of each other. The first one was that Abs got in a car crash and he died. And it was fucking terrible. Like that guy was like one of my best friends, like one of the people that truly cares about me, with or without money, without a following, without my skill sets. He would have loved me till the day I died. It was like a brother to me. Car crash, dead. Like fucked me up. Now, a week after that, Daniel died.
And he's a coach out in Las Vegas, actually works with me out on the strip. We do a lot of sales. I'm the sales pro, but this guy is good with girls. I mean, he's insane. I've seen him out in action.
Having a true friend, like you know what me and my friend here have, it takes a lot of time. Like we've been together for like what, like fucking like 6 years?
Years. We lived together, we did all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, this is actually the guy, like if you guys ever seen my true story video, this is one of my friends that like really had my back when all that shit went down. He's actually the guy that was in the car when I actually was hanging out with that girl and he picked me up because man, I don't know, I was drunk and shit and I didn't want to drive.
That was a long story.
Yeah. Fucked me up. Like I was like shaking, sobbing, crying. I just fucking couldn't do it. And I felt like if I had like put more hustle into this shit, I could have done something for them. I could have like taken them on trips. I could have shown them my love. Like Daniel left thinking that I never cared about him because I was putting so much effort in this, I couldn't hang out with him anymore and he got mad at me. It was like 2 weeks later that he died. And I'm like, well, fuck. And it was a really like tough situation for me. And I'm like, dude, you can't like be living in fear anymore. You got to break up with your girl and you got to go all in on this. And I did. Now, now I was starting to like, I broke up with her, super traumatic. There's a video about it like online. Then I was like, I moved to the place I'm living in right now. And I started working, like hustling hard. And that was around the time that I became friends with another really popular RSD coach. I'm not gonna say who, like him and me are pretty tight nowadays. And he tells me that there's gonna be something where YouTube and everybody's gonna get attacked and that I shouldn't be putting up Infield. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, you need to like pull back on the brakes. Like if you post content through the summer, there's a chance you could be taken down as a YouTuber. And I'm like, okay. And it was like, it took me every ounce of will not to shoot Infield. Like I did shoot some infield. I did post some up. But then, like,
one of my best friends.
he was right. Like at the end of summer,
So
like
he came down here visiting me. We've been hanging out all last night.
Like a bunch of my
we went
friends
on
at
game for a
practice
while. We
got
had a
all
lot
this
of
chance
fun.
taken down.
And what I want to talk about this
Casanova
video
got
is
taken
how to
out.
make not just make
Street
friends, but make
Traction got
true
taken
friends. Like
out.
I'm really good at making
And it was
friendships.
BBC
Like we were
because
talking about this like
they're
for a second here.
like, it was basically
And,
just like a massive attack on the community
like
to
the
a
big thing I
general
feel is
extent.
that
And I
I'm
freaked
great
the
at
fuck
like
out. Like the
fucking like
entire
talking
summer I was
to people,
pulling my
making
hair
my
out.
friends. I
was
know how to
putting up
play
like
them at their
really
level
like
and
shitty
whatnot.
content
Like
that I
if somebody's
still
like maybe like more
don't
insecure, I know
like
how to act
because I was
like
trying to be like so
quirky.
PC, trying to
So
like
Alex
follow
has
these
concept where
guidelines
he
that I
talks
knew
about
these
maybe
people wanted.
where
And nowadays I'm
people
kind of
are-
like, fuck it. Like
so
if
if
they
you're
take me out, they're gonna
evil,
take me out. I want to
you
do what I
don't
want
act
to do,
like
and
an
it's just
evil
so
around church. You
stressful.
act like a turkey. You act like an idiot. You act like
Yeah,
you're like stupid.
it was a bitch. Like to do go through all that shit. Like it sucked. I was 6 months out of practice game wise because I had a girlfriend and I was like doing everything that boosts up this YouTube channel. And I decided that I want to start doing. I want to get my game to a point where there was no chance that anybody else would be better than me.
So what I'm going to talk about
I since last March I've been doing nothing but gaming.
So
like
lately,
hard.
People die trying to get close. Who's willing to climb until they let go? 1 in a million finna really blow. The rest of y'all just fading like an echo. Demons in my head make me feel alone. I see ghosts when I'm sleeping. They feed for my soul, but hell no.
Yeah, no, dude. Who the fuck is named Tyrone?
Came out, so white boy.
I'm somewhat normal.
What city you guys from?
So I'm like somewhat normal.
We're from.
Dude, you guys are pretty sick.
Wait. No. Sacramento.
What are you doing over there? Why aren't you in the party?
Yes.
Why-
That's. And this is.
Hi.
You don't even know my name.
Hola.
Give me.
Wait, I don't know if you guys are Latinas. I'm just guessing.
Yes. So this is.
Latina.
Sorry, how's it
And
going?
this is. Your friend. And then.
He's right here.
He's dead.
The third one.
He's dead.
Friday.
I got a table there.
It's excess open on.
Teo. We're
Yeah?
going to Teo tonight.
That would be good. You guys want
Hagersan's
something
a big
bigger?
one though.
Hagersan's good. Thursday though, you guys want to go to
Where are you from?
Omni's pretty sick.
Australia.
Everyone's like, for you ladies, you guys are attractive. Marky and Oscar.
I can spell
Like
contacts.
they'll throw tables and drinks left and right.
Sure.
You didn't smell mine.
Smell?
You didn't smell mine.
Dude.
Is that what you said? What did you say?
Nice. She needs
See.
to tell me fuck off her so
You didn't see mine.
He tested me out.
Yeah, but your eyes are dark. I don't think you're wearing contacts.
I'm wearing contacts, so you didn't see mine. So that's
I'm not an expert at everything.
Determined that that was a lie.
I must be a dick.
Tyrone the second.
What's your name?
Brad. Do they have a baby daddy?
September, August, and December.
So you got them. You bought them all when they were born. How old are you then?
After they were born.
How old are you?
Way older than them. Way fucking older than
But
them.
you're not married.
I am not married. Fuck no.
Ah.
I got lucky.
What does that mean?
I came really close to one, but I got lucky.
So the deal is, I'm guessing you're with someone, but you're not married. Oh, I don't know.
No, I'm single as fuck.
Fair enough.
Are you guys all Spanish?
Where are your kids then?
Hablas español?
They're not literally mine.
You also wait up.
They're my brothers.
That makes sense because I thought that you were like kind of young.
But they might as well. Yeah, I'm not that young, but yeah.
Yo vivo en México para 2 meses.
Your poor friend. He's like dying. He's like murder me. Please
¿Cómo
fucking
estás,
hang me.
Linda?
Don't step on me, baby.
Sí,
My bad.
You literally just stepped on me. My name's not Linda.
My bad, babysitter. Buenas noches. She said Colombia, so you guys Colombian?
I am definitely. We are definitely not. We're Mexican as fuck.
DS.
Colombian? No.
CDX. Are you from CDMX?
Your friend is videoing us.
Hey, stop being so
I
creepy.
didn't sign a release waiver.
Hey,
Come on.
give us verbal release.
I didn't sign a release
Yeah, but
waiver.
we're not, if we don't use the video for anything, we don't need a release because we're not even doing anything with the
So
video.
what if you fucking use it? I still didn't sign
He,
a release.
I said to him he has to film us today because we're going to do a video over there, so I guess he's just prematurely filming us.
So how is he gonna know to contact us to release authorization?
He just has to contact my wife.
None of you guys have been like fucking
In Australia?
I don't have a wife.
like
I don't
get
fucking
it,
have a
like,
husband.
You're kind of feeling shy and shit, talking to strangers.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
Liz. Mom, I'm literally
We're
10 minutes.
snuggling. We're snuggling,
Literally
okay?
10 minutes
All right,
out
this
of
is
the hotel.
bonding.
So you let go of Tyrone.
I'm kind of cool.
We're gonna show the world.
It's not a good representation, is it?
That's what social media wants to do.
But I noticed in certain areas it was like that, especially in the rich
So
areas.
like I think Guadalajara and
Everyone talks about Guadalajara. I can't pronounce
Here, let me
it.
do something real quick.
Guadalajara.
so he's literally your videographer. So he takes
Yeah.
video of you guys. What does he do?
Oh, he's meant to be my assistant.
Your assistant.
Yeah.
Is he not drinking?
Here, show.
He looks like he's. He's
10 out of
still
10,
not-
yes.
Look,
10 out
he's
of 10.
holding the camera.
And I looked for a group of guys that were as dedicated to this as me, which was very difficult, even in Las Vegas. I ran across one dude who was still my homie to this day. He's probably going to watch this video. He's actually a celebrity promoter. Fucking amazing game, dude. Badass motherfucker. He would be pulling like threesomes, foursomes, be pulling like stunning like celebrities left and right, and him and me would just go out like all the fucking time, approaching just like madmen, like trying to figure this shit out, trying to like this guy was born a natural, and then he learned game. He actually even like worked with mystery and taught mystery game to an extent. Worked with Tyler and RSD. Like he is like fucking like amazing game. Like if anybody ever does boot camp with me, he's one of the guys I try to bring out on my boot camps all the time. Yeah, then I started running into more guys that were just as dedicated to this, and I created a little group out here in Las Vegas of like just badass motherfuckers. Now, a lot of shit happened out here. Like, oh man, I'm kind of like feeling out if I should like go into some of the stories here. Let me see if I wrote any of them down. If I wrote them down, I'll talk about them. Oh, I had my like. So I never was really all that good at getting threesomes and stuff like that, and I just started getting a lot. Like, all right, so 4 months ago, I slept with like 25 girls in a month time, 2 threesomes, 1 orgy, and then a bunch of just singular lays. And it was like, Jesus, like it was just like a ton of fucking women, like just hot ass, like smoking women. The orgy was awkward. If any of you guys ever do an orgy where there's like dudes and stuff like that, dude, like your first time's always super weird. Like I could not get hard. Like I pulled 2 girls back into another room. Yeah, no, and I still couldn't get hard. It was just like too much for me. It's so much pressure. Nowadays I'd probably do a lot better, but at the time it's like, nope. I was fucking around with this one girl when she came out here, and I pulled her. Then like the next day she wanted me to have sex with her and her friend. They both took acid. I was sober, and they were like, it was, yeah.
Do it. Don't get a picture with me. No. No. Hey guys.
Awkward.
No, not awkward. No, knock them over. Say fuck it.
Through winter, I ran so many boot camps, and I'm gonna say this. They're like, my boot camps are probably among the best in the world. Like there's nobody that teaches this shit like me. There's very few guys that understand this on the same level as me. And most people that run on my boot camps get progress. Like the only people that don't get progress are the people that don't take action. But like I specifically, I put all my skill sets into specifically boot camps, understanding game, and being really fucking good at game. Like that's all my skill points. Like when it came down to marketing and shit like that, like a lot of you guys know that there's like a certain pickup guy that I still never really got along with. I apologize to him, and he still is like a total douchebag to me. But the second that I started popping off, I had a chip on my shoulder. I was pissed that there were people out there that didn't know the shit did, that put out stupid, terrible content, just repeating and regurgitating shit that they heard because they don't understand it on a tacit level. I was like, fuck you. It's like, fuck you. Like you made it, like you're doing this to make money. You could have done 100 other fucking things, and you don't have the fucking passion behind this. That pisses me off. Like I wanted to become so fucking good at this. There was no doubt that anybody could be any fucking better at this. And I'm getting there. I'm really fucking good at this.
Rise to the top by my own means, for the homies that I OP low-key, working so hard that I don't sleep 4 weeks, probably finna die for make it to the top, gotta stop, call the police, OC, I'm about to fully go with the GOAT when I go for the gold trophy like Kobe. I am as good as it gets, put into work, blood into sweat, stuck on my neck, for the respect, bitch I won't ever relent, no, never again, when like fall on a stairway to heaven, I'm climbing again as I rise to the top from the bottom, I went from a bottomless pit to the top of the mountain, I'm on the ascent. People done trying to get close to that mountaintop, but who's willing to climb until they let go when you're falling off, going down in flames like a Molotov. But I swear to God, there's no touching the rhymes, one of a kind. Just what am I gonna be? Stuck in a line with a pen in my pocket, get tough, and I grind as I climb to the top. When I clutch and I rise to the side of the cliff with a summon in sight, such heights, but I'm never gonna plummet in my life till I'm touching the sky and I'm up so high in the top, just me, myself, and I'm
going to be doing this probably till the day I die. Like this is the shit that I've loved, and I've never known anything else. I've worked my ass off to be the baddest motherfucker in this. Like I work hard. I think about the shit all the fucking time. Literally, like random shit comes through. Like I listen to a random video and it comes down to pickup. It's like everything is like shaving inches off the off of the yard. It's like seconds. Like I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. Like I never wanted anything but this, and I still don't want anything but this. I want to be the baddest motherfucker. The reason I even started the success channel was because that guy told me that there's a chance that YouTube would completely exterminate every dude in this industry. And I'm gonna say this. There is not a chance in hell that I'm ever going to quit this. Even if, like, let's say they take down my fucking pickup channel and I can no longer teach it on YouTube, I'm still going to teach it elsewhere. I'm still going to be putting it up here. I'm still going to be putting it up on my website. There's no chance in hell that I'm ever going to stop, like, improving in this, becoming better, and, like, helping out everybody as much as humanly possible. Because this took me super fucking long to learn. This took me so much, like, man hours and thinking and just, like, going over and over and over. Like, I don't have these wrinkles in my fucking head for no reason. Like, I stressed about this shit. I thought about this. And I put, like, every ounce of willpower into being the best at understanding social dynamics as I possibly could. That being said,
cause I know that I got passion, overlapping the flows that I got mastered. Just imagine a kid who ain't never had shit.